Hey, welcome back. In this episode, I'm going to teach you how to buy a piece of land from a neighbor and why the heck would you want to do this? Maybe you want to extend your property or maybe you want to build a house. I'm going to show you the ways to do it. All right, have you been secretly coveting your neighbor's land, trying to figure out how to buy it or maybe how to get in touch with them, but you don't know where to start or even how to structure the deal? I'm gonna show you all the steps to get her done, and I'm gonna also tell you what the neighbors tell me when I sell them land. All right, so you're looking at buying your neighbor's land. You're trying to figure out how to buy a piece of land from your neighbor. Let's talk about the first step. How to get in touch with this neighbor. Maybe it's a vacant piece of land and they live nowhere near it. I want to tell you about a cool app called LandGlide. This is an app that's free for 7 days and it's like $9 a month afterwards. You can literally download this app from the Google Play Store or Apple App Store and get this app before you even leave your house. Download it and then walk onto this neighbor's land and it will show you the exact name of this neighbor, their mailing address, and you can send them a letter that says, hey, Mr. Neighbor, or hey, Miss Neighbor, I would like to buy your land. If you'd be interested in selling it, go ahead and give me a call. Blah, 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 719-555-5555. I'll take care of everything. I'll pay all the closing costs. If you're interested in a fair offer, call me. This is how we get neighbors to sell us land all the time. All right, next is the county assessor's website. Let's just say you're in El Paso County, Colorado. You can Google El Paso County, Colorado assessor, and you can actually look up your land, look up your name or your house or wherever you're at, and go on the assessor site and you can click a link on the GIS map, Golf India Sierra, and you can actually scroll over and look at the adjacent parcels of land or your neighbor's land and click on it and see their name, their mailing address, and you can actually send them this letter I just talked about. Hey, Mr. Neighbor, I'd like to buy your land for a fair cash price. If you're interested in selling your land, give me a call, 719-555-5555, or whatever your number is, or maybe an email, or whatever your preferred method is. Maybe you're in a hurry. Maybe you don't want to send a letter and wait for the United States Postal Service. Maybe you want to look them up really quickly. I've got a link below in the description. It's batchleads.com. This is how you can actually skip trace your neighbor and figure out what their phone number is. A lot of times you can even get an email. Maybe you want to call or maybe send a text. I recommend a text. Hey, John or Sally, my name is Brent. We're actually neighbors. I'd be interested in buying your land at 123 Main Street. Would you be interested in selling? Don't even leave it out to them to let you know. Just ask, would you be interested in selling your land at 123 Main Street? You don't have to make this complicated. Keep it super simple. Maybe you don't text, then give them a phone call. Maybe you can get an email and you can send a quick email. But I recommend call, text, email, and send the letter if you're really interested in buying this piece of land from your neighbor. All right, so maybe after you've looked at LandGlide or you looked at the assessor site, maybe their mailing address is super close by. It's actually within the same county or city or state, and maybe you can just drive to the person's house and knock on the door. A phone call is cool, email is cool, that can just be deleted. A phone call can be hung up on, a text message could be ignored, or your letter could be thrown away. But if you knock on the door, what's hardest to get rid of? It's a body. So if you knock on the door, and I'm not trying to scare you as a body, you be nice and knock on the door, have a communication, say, hey, we're actually neighbors. I own the land next to yours, or I own the house next to your land. Tell them why you're there. Don't freak them out. But say, hey, would you be interested in selling it? But be prepared. You might receive a little bit of pushback if you just show up on someone's doorstep. All right, so do yourself a favor. Definitely hit that subscribe button. You're not going to want to miss any of this content. I come out with these 5 days a week, always bringing you the most up-to-date knowledge for buying land, selling land, buying it from neighbors, whatever. Hit that subscribe button. Go ahead. In the beginning of this video, I was telling you about a story that basically what neighbors tell me when I sell them land. A lot of times I will buy land. I buy land at massive discounts and I turn around and sell it to the neighbors. I love selling land to the neighbors. But what these neighbors tell me all the time when I sell them a piece of land is I've been coveting this land for a while. I always wanted to buy this land, but I didn't know how to get started. I didn't know where to find the owner. And here you are presenting this land for me to buy it, absolutely I'll buy it. You know, I get that all the time. So you can do the exact opposite. So if I could show you how to find who in the heck owns land, how to structure it, this is gonna help you get that piece of land that you're looking to buy from the neighbor. All right, so I told you how to find this neighbor, how to get in touch with them, how to communicate with them. And let's just say this neighbor says, sure, I'll sell you my land. Now what? What the world do you do? So at the end of the day, it's all about communication. Mr. Neighbor, when would you like to sell this land? How soon? You know, how soon would you want to, you know, close on it? You know, I like to get like what their warm and fuzzy is, like what they feel, what they think, because they might not have even thought about it until you just approach them about it. So they might say 30 days, or I don't know, I'd be fine selling it a couple months from now. You want to kind of see what their timeline is, because you don't want to rush them too much. And also, if they want to do it sooner than later, you don't want to take too much time. So one, timeline. Number two is price. Like, okay, if I could pay all cash, I take care of all the closing costs, I do everything for you, what's the least you'd be willing to take for this land? And then close your mouth. Be quiet. If you're on the phone, mute your phone and wait for them to answer. Mr. Neighbor, awesome. If I could pay cash and close quickly and I take care of everything, what is the least you could pay for this land? This is your script. Learn this, internalize it, make it your own, and be sure to shush up as soon as you ask it. And wait, this is gonna be hard. So they've given you their number now. You've waited. It took maybe 30 seconds. It's the longest 30 seconds of your life. I want you to feel a little deflated. I want you to actually feel deflated so they can feel it in you when you say, is that the least you can do? And shush up again. Say it with respect and confidence. Is that the least you can do? And shush up again. Mute your phone, cover your mouth. Now, if you're standing there in front of the seller, the neighbor, I wouldn't recommend covering your mouth because they would think you're weird. But he who speaks first loses. That's kind of cold, but at the end of the day, you want to get the best deal possible for this piece of land that you're buying from your neighbor, right? See, I just paused there. It's awkward. So just be sure whatever they say, after they say it the second time you've been quiet, is that the least you can take? I want you to say, awesome. Is it okay if I get back to you? I'm gonna do a little research. Can I call you at 4? Like, let's just say 4 is an hour from now. I wouldn't give it more than like a day, but you want to kind of pull away because you want the seller to feel like they won the negotiation. You don't want the seller feeling like if you say, done, let's do it right now, the seller will think, oh my gosh, I sold it for way too cheap. You do not want them to have seller's remorse. So you do your diligence, your research, you call them back at 4, just like you promised. I want you to call them on the dot at 4, or maybe you said you're gonna come back at 4. You better be on time. Be prompt, be on time. I cannot state that enough. That there's nothing that shows disrespect more than being late or tardy. You call right at 4 and says, Mr. Seller, I've done my research, everything looks good. You mentioned you would take $30,000. Does that offer still stand, or does that still stand to do this deal? You want to get their commitment at that point. So they've committed to you, and after they commit, I want you to get a purchase agreement over to them ASAP. It's going to save the timeline when they want to close, the purchase amount, and if you establish any terms, maybe they're going to seller finance you the land, maybe they're going to willing to take like a cash price, whatever the communication is. I want that in that purchase agreement. That is your agreement of when you're going to close, how much you're going to pay, and then I want you to get that purchase agreement to a title company so they can start the due diligence, their research, their title search to make sure that you are buying a clean title, a piece of land that you can have and hold forever without any disturbances. And then that 30 days is up or 40 days is up, whenever you guys determine that you're gonna close, you've done all your research and your due diligence, your inspection, everything still looks good. It's now time for closing. I call it the celebration. You buy this piece of land from your neighbor and build your barn or plant your garden or the playground that you're gonna do for the neighborhood, whatever it is, and just celebrate. All right, as we all know, the real estate market is absolutely booming. I've got a tried and true method that I teach people how to buy land for massive discounts and turn around and sell this land for premium and retail prices while they sleep. I've got students making $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 a month. If you're interested in checking out this business or building a business like this that would serve you and your family and eventually others, go down below in the description to landsharks.com. Schedule a call with me and my team. We'll see what your goals are, and if I can help you, I'd love to coach you.